The most tense breaking news of the year. The skies over the Gulf turned red. Sirens blared. U.S. military radar detected 4 heat signatures streaking at high speed toward one of the most powerful aircraft carriers in the world. Within seconds, the world stood on the brink of major war. 4 missiles were reportedly launched by the elite forces of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps belonging to Iran toward a U.S. naval strike group operating in the volatile Middle East region. This was not a drill. This was not a simulation. This was a real attack. Second 1, the Aegis radar system sounded the alarm. Second 2, the aircraft carrier's defense systems activated at full capacity. Second 3, interceptor missiles were launched from escorting destroyers. The sky erupted into flashes of fire. Regional military sources say the 4 missiles flew at high speed with low-altitude trajectories, allegedly designed to evade radar detection and strike a high-value target. The target? A U.S. aircraft carrier, a symbol of global military power. Imagine if even one missile had penetrated the defenses. On board that carrier are thousands of personnel and dozens of combat-ready fighter jets. If a missile were to hit the main deck, the impact could destabilize the entire region and trigger a massive military response. And this is what made the world hold its breath. Did any missile break through the defenses? Initial reports indicate that layered defense systems successfully intercepted most of the threats mid-air. Explosions were heard in the sky before the missiles could reach the ship. However, the military has not yet released full details regarding interception distance or potential damage. Tensions escalated instantly. The Pentagon held an emergency meeting. Additional naval assets reportedly moved into strategic positions. Surveillance aircraft were deployed. Fighter jets were placed on full alert. Meanwhile, Iranian media described the action as a strong warning against foreign military presence in the region. That statement fueled global speculation. Is this the beginning of open conflict? Financial markets reacted immediately. Oil prices surged. Investors grew anxious. The world understands that the Gulf region is the heart of global energy supply. If conflict erupts, the consequences could reach households across the globe. Military analysts describe this as one of the most dangerous moments in recent years. When missiles are fired directly at an aircraft carrier, it is no longer shadow warfare, it is open confrontation. But one major question now heightens the tension. Will the United States retaliate? History shows that direct attacks on strategic U.S. assets are often met with firm responses. Military options remain wide open: limited airstrikes, destruction of missile launch facilities, or intensified economic sanctions. On the other hand, Iran maintains an extensive missile and defense network across the region. If retaliation occurs, the risk of rapid escalation is extremely high. Allied nations have begun increasing readiness levels. Military bases across the region tighten security. Warships repositioned. Anti-missile systems activated. The world now stands at a crossroads. 4 missiles have been launched. 1 aircraft carrier was targeted. 2 major powers are testing each other's limits. Is this merely a show of force? Or the beginning of a much wider conflict? Latest information indicates investigations are ongoing to confirm technical details of the attack and the defensive response. All eyes are now on Washington and Tehran. One thing is certain: tensions have not subsided. Several hours after 4 missiles were reportedly launched toward an aircraft carrier, Washington did not remain silent. Defense sources stated that the military command of the America Serikat immediately raised readiness levels across the Middle East to high alert. Inside the Pentagon building, an emergency closed-door meeting was convened. Generals, national security advisors, and intelligence officials gathered to address one crucial question: has this crossed the red line? The U.S. president was reportedly briefed directly by Central Command. Military options were laid out on the table: precision airstrikes, retaliatory cyber operations, destruction of missile launch facilities, and even the scenario of deploying a second aircraft carrier to the conflict zone. Meanwhile, the U.S. naval fleet began to move. Destroyers expanded their defensive formations. nuclear submarines were reportedly repositioned to more strategic locations. Fighter jets took off for continuous combat air patrols. Surveillance aircraft scanned the skies without pause. The message being sent was clear: America is ready. But behind that readiness lies far deeper tension. Security analysts warn that if the United States chooses to retaliate directly against Iranian military targets, further responses would almost certainly follow. The elite forces of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps would not stand down. Regional proxy networks could be drawn in. US bases in various countries might become the next targets. And this is where the situation becomes even more alarming. Worst-case scenarios are now being discussed: open war in the Gulf region. Oil prices have surged sharply. Global stock markets are trembling. Airlines have begun rerouting flights. US allies are tightening security around their military facilities. But perhaps the most unsettling development is an intelligence report that has not yet been officially confirmed. US radar systems reportedly detected additional activity along the coastline of Iran several hours after the initial attack. Was it preparation for a second wave? Or merely routine activity? It is this uncertainty that has heightened global anxiety. The US military is now in a ready-to-fire posture. This means that if even the slightest threat is detected approaching, a response could occur within seconds, without waiting for extended deliberation. Meanwhile, senior Iranian officials stated that their country will not back down under pressure. That statement has further intensified the atmosphere. Is this merely psychological warfare? Or are we witnessing the early chapter of a major conflict that could reshape the geopolitical map of the world? Several experts caution that a direct conflict between Iran and the United States would not be brief. Strategic sea lanes could be disrupted. Global energy distribution could be affected. The consequences could reach households across multiple nations. And the question now hanging in the air is this: will the United States press the retaliation button tonight? Or will diplomacy prevail to prevent a large-scale war? Insider sources say the final decision has not yet been publicly announced. The world now awaits the next official statement from Washington. One thing is certain: tensions remain extremely high. Fleets are moving. Defense systems are fully activated. The eyes of the world are fixed on a region that could determine global stability. Stay with us, because the next development could become the defining moment that decides whether the world enters a new phase of conflict or steps back from the brink of major war.